Hello everyone. In this video, I'll help you understand the importance of dropout in a neural network. So without wasting any further time, let's get started by importing the necessary modules. Before we jump forward and create a neural network and add a dropout layer to it, the first thing that we'll have to do is generate some data. So I want to generate 40 data points, 20 for training, 20 for testing. So the way I would do that is I'll define a variable called as number of points equal to 20. I'll create 20 values in between -1 and 1. This is for the x-axis. Next, I generate 20 values for training dataset. These are my white train values. So let me run this cell. I move forward and I generate 20 more values in the x-axis between -1 and 1. So let me run this cell. I move forward and now I generate 20 more artificial data points in the y-axis for the testing dataset. That is where my y-test comes into action. So let me run this. Let me go forward and plot both the values, that is xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest, so that you have a clear picture of what we are trying to solve. As it is very evident from a scatter plot, there is a linear trend between x and y values, which is what I want to realize using a neural network. Now if this scatter plot is clear, let's move forward. Before I even jump on to create the neural network architecture, since this is a comparatively simpler dataset, I'm using 128 hidden units. I could have taken a smaller value, but randomly I chose 128 and I've kind of created a solution for it. So I'm sticking to a total of 128 hidden units. So let me run this cell. Now let me go forward and explain you the architecture of the neural network for this regression task. The first thing that I do is I create an instance of the sequential class and save it into a variable called as model_1. The next thing that I do is I add my first hidden layer, which is directly connected to the input layer, which has a dimension of 1. And I also apply an activation function of ReLU in this first hidden layer. I add the next hidden layer, which is connected to the 128 neurons previously. So this will also have 128 neurons. And the activation for the second hidden layer is also ReLU. Moving to the final layer, which is the output layer, I've chosen an activation of linear because this is a regression task and not a classification task. I define the Adam optimizer with a custom learning rate, which is 0.01. By default, the learning rate is set to 0.001. I want it to be a bit higher. The next thing that I do is I pass in the values of loss, which is mean squared error in case of a regression task. The optimizer is the custom optimizer that we just created. And the matrix that we want to track the performance of this model with respect to is mean squared error. Having gone through the activity of creating the structure of the network, now is the time to train the model with respect to the training data, validate it against the testing data, and train the model for 500 epochs. So let me run the combined cell. This process will take some time. Now that the model has reached optimum parameters based on the data and based on the epochs that we supplied, let's go forward and evaluate the model performance on the training as well as the testing data set. So let me run this cell. So as you can clearly see, the training mean squared error is 0.004 and the testing mean squared error is 0.045. Based on my evaluation of the current performance of the model, I can safely say that the model is overfitting the training data set. The reason being it has a very small mean squared error, so it's essentially fitting all the training data points and it is not doing so well with respect to the testing data points that I have. This will be evident in the next section. So what I do next is I make predictions using the model on the testing data set and I save it into a variable called as y_pred_1. So let me run this cell. So let's move forward and understand with the help of a plot if our current model is overfitting or not. So let me run this cell. The plot is a combination of three different plots. I have a scatter plot of my training dataset, I have a scatter plot of my testing dataset, and I have a line plot of my prediction values. The red dots denote my training dataset. As you can clearly see from the line, which is my prediction line, it is trying to closely learn the values of my training data set. That is, it is very close to the red dots which are there. That is why when you compare it to the testing values, it's still far off from these points which are there. So essentially the model that we created is accurate on the training data set, but doesn't do a great job when you consider the testing data set. So this is a clear case of overfitting that we've observed in the current scenario. How should we tackle the overfitting problem that we are encountering right now? Well, the solution is something called as dropout. So let me go over that section. So what exactly is dropout? Well, dropout is a process wherein you randomly select some nodes in a given layer and turn them off. This process is only valid during the training phase and not the testing phase. What happens because of this process is that your neural network becomes much more robust in case of understanding features from your data. So it is not relying on one particular node to give out the final prediction. So this is the advantage that you get when you start using dropout. There are plenty of resources available that you can kind of make use of to understand the dropout functionality. The aim of the video is to explain where dropout fits in the whole neural network architecture space, and also how it can eliminate the overfitting problem that you encounter when you train a neural network. So essentially, the core structure of the neural network remains the same. Going through this piece of code, it is evident that the overall structure of the neural network is still the same. The only modifications that I have done is I've added two dropout layers after the two hidden layers that I have. So this is one of them and this is the second one. Now if you look closely, there is a number called as 0.5. So 0.5 is the probability of how many neurons should be switched on during the training phase. So if I have X number of neurons, then only 50% of the neurons would be active at a given training phase. The 50% of the neurons which are active may not be the same neuron that become active in the next iteration or the next epoch. Now that the concept of dropout is clear, let's move forward and train the network. The training is now complete. Let's go forward and evaluate how well our model is performing. So as you can clearly see, the mean squared error for the training dataset has increased a bit, and for the testing dataset it is still normal. Let me go forward and show you the visualization which will make the entire story very clear. So let me run this cell in order to create the predictions first. And let me go forward and show you the visualization. As you can clearly see from the diagram, this time around the neural network is not very close to the red points. It has tried to understand the relationship between y and x. That is why it is a bit far off from the red points. Some places, yes, it is very close, but some places you can see a very good difference between the actual line and the red points which were my training data points. So this was my attempt in explaining how dropout can help you eliminate the overfitting problem in case of a neural network. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like the content that I post on my channel, it would be really helpful if you can press the subscribe button and also press the bell icon to be notified for future amazing videos on data science and machine learning. Thank you so much for watching the video.